All right, this is SREB, ready for high school math. Lesson 2.5 on literal equations. So I've just got one last example that I need to finish up on this set of notes. So we're talking about literal equations. Literal equations are equations that have multiple variables, and so we need to pick one variable and get it alone. So let's look at this one. V is equal to b squared times h, all divided by 3. And we need to get b alone. All right, so let's look at this. All right, so first up, we've got the entire right side being divided by 3, and that's including the b that we want to get alone. So to undo division by 3, we need to multiply by 3. So we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. So when we do that, we'll get 3 times v will give me 3v. And over here, the 3's will cancel each other out. So we're just left with b squared times h. All right, next up, I want to get b alone by itself in the end. So first I need to get b squared alone. So I need to get everything that is not b squared away from b squared. So we've got b squared times h. So to undo that, we need to divide by h. So we're left with 3v over h is equal to b squared. Okay, so now we want to get b alone, but now we've run into a little bit of a problem because we have b squared. Keep in mind, this is not b plus 2, b minus 2. This is not b times 2 or b divided by 2. This is b squared, which is a different thing. We have to do the thing that will undo a square, but adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing won't work. So the one thing that will work is we take the square root of both sides. Okay? So just like how adding undoes subtraction and multiplying undoes division, square root undoes the square. So I'm left with just b. Not b squared, not the square root of b, just b, because square root undoes the square. And vice versa. A square will undo a square root as well. So b will now equal everything on the left side here. The square root of 3v over h. Okay, so with b, the square root disappears, so the square root cancels out the square, so it disappears. But on the other side, there wasn't anything square to cancel it out of here. So this square root had to stick around. So we get, for our final answer, that b is equal to the square root of 3v over h.